morning and grand rising to you and also you. I am Stars Tina, and if it sounds like I'm screaming, forgive me, but I'm just super excited this morning. It's something about that song. It gets the blood going through my body. If you didn't know, you are in the #1 morning show, the #1 club in Clubhouse. We are in Breakfast with Champions. Yes, we are here Monday through Saturday, starting at 5 a.m. And I'm super excited to be with you every single Monday morning to kick in the doors right before Glenn Lundy gets in here, who is the founder of this room. He's at the helm there, just bringing all the greatness for all of us. When you come into this space every day, we're going to bring you motivation, education, and inspiration when it comes to making all your dreams come true. So this is that time where we get to say hello, we get to say good morning, we get to share the room out in the hallways. If you're watching me on YouTube, hello, Instagram, LinkedIn, hello. I could not find my glasses this morning, guys, but that's okay. I'm sure I can scroll and say good morning to you. You see today's topic, right? Unlocking your full potential. Understanding the journey. Before we get into the topic, like I said, I like to say good morning. But some of you are probably saying, well, Tina, I can't get up 5 o'clock every morning, or I might miss something. And if you miss something, it's quite all right. We got you covered. Our guy, Ramon, he's curated this wonderful website and everything. It's called bwcdaily.com. So if you miss something, everything is there. And everything that our hosts talk about will be there as well. Now, maybe you say, you know what? I need a little upgrade. We have our BWC Daily Prime, which just unlocks all the keys even deeper for the community that we have right here. And as I said, we're here about 8 hours every day, starting at 5 a.m. And we have a huge event, lots of events going up. We have one coming up in Dallas. So make sure you tap into that as well. So I want to scroll and say good morning to Dora Maria. Can we talk about branding really quick? Because it just made me think about it when I said her name. Everyone, or mostly everyone that I know who hears her, will say Dora Maria with a little accent. I'm not Latina or anything like that, but it's just how she's branded herself. And it just made me think of that, Dora Maria. I just love it. Good morning, Christina. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom because, one thing that Glenn and everyone, all the champions do here is they give everyone a seat at the table. And I don't know about you, but sometimes in my life in the past, I didn't feel like I had a seat or an opportunity to move up. So I want to say good morning, Gloria. Good morning to Wanda. Good morning, KG. Dora Maria right there again. I see Terry. I see Grace. All you have to do is raise your hand. Do you know in life, all you have to do is just maybe sometimes raise your hand or open your mouth and you can get anything you want. If this is your first time on BWC in the room, first time seeing me, just kind of put some stars in the chat and say, it's my first time, because we want to welcome you. We want to say hello to you. I see Misty. Good morning, Misty. I see Shannon there. Welcome, Shannon. Shannon's like, let me up. Yes, come on through. We love that. I see Kim Farr, and we have a party popper, Winston. Welcome, Winston. Party popper. That means this is his first week in Clubhouse, and this is amazing. All righty. So in the chat, if you're just looking on the bottom there, you can write all sorts of things like good morning to different people or all that great stuff. And I see Yasmin. Oh, there go my glasses right there. My guy is pretty amazing, let me tell you. I was like, I couldn't find my glasses, and he brought them in. So now I can see what I'm saying to you guys. Woo-dee-woo-dee-woo. So I'm super revved up like a car about today's topic because I'm here on Mondays and we have 4 more Mondays in this month, and I'm going to break it down for you right now what you're going to get. Today and this month, it's all about mindset. For me, we're going to unlock your potential, and today I'm going to share with you some things that I have done to unlock the potential, the maximum potential in my life. And as I was thinking about today's topic, I thought about all the different things that I've done over the years. And I'm like, yeah, this is normal for you, Tina, pushing through, always going for the best. So today we're going to be talking about mindset, some strategies on how to strengthen your mindset. I had an amazing weekend. Can you just write in the chat if you had a great weekend, like the highlight of your weekend? I want to know from you. Perhaps if you're on stage, 30 seconds or less, on mic, let me hear from you the highlights of your weekend. I want to hear. Talk to me. Somebody. Anybody. Anybody there?
I'm here. It's Gail. I had a blast. My husband and I actually had received for Christmas a gift certificate to a wine and to an ice carving event, and we went to it with his brother and his wife, who are our best friends. And we saw everybody that I love in our little community that I haven't seen since before COVID. Everybody was out, and it was so much fun. We were outside, and we were, tasting little tastes of a little, and for me, I'm in a challenge to not have anything, so I just had a teensy tiny taste here and there. So I was feeling great, but I wasn't feeling like any. The next morning, I felt great, and we just were laughing and hugging people and admiring all the beautiful work, and it was a blast.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that, Gail. And that's going to be the second or third week in this month where I talk about relationships, because what she did was she unlocked her potential to grow her relationship with her husband, with her family, and with her friends. And that's what we have to do sometimes. We just have to slow down and experience life. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm going to check in the chat again. I want to hear, what did you do this weekend to uplift your life? What was your highlight? What did you do? Welcome to the room, Yolanda. Okay, Christina, here's a list of popular books. Suggest BWC. We love that. Look at that link right there that Christina Howard put in. Because of Glenn, I got this book. If you're looking at me on camera, You Owe You. This was our book for last month with Eric Thomas. That has a lot to do with unlocking your potential power. Put me on, fam. All right. What was the highlight of your weekend? Anyone else have a highlight? 30 more seconds before I continue. Go.
Yes, Stars Tina. This is Shantae. Woo!
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey. My highlight was being a part of the Absolute Elite Mindset and getting to hear part of Renee's segment this Saturday. It was super, super easy to understand, and it was so practical. She helped us get our money together. You hear me? So that was my highlight. Woo!
Thank you so much, Shantae. And she's right. I had Shantae's going to be speaking this weekend. She didn't even mention herself. I curated a space of coaches from Clubhouse. I was like, these women are pretty amazing. So we had a 4-week program where you could come in and listen to different coaches. And I got to speak about mindset. Renee got to speak. So that was another highlight. All righty. So we're going to get started on today's topic, unlocking the potential inside of you, the deepest potential. And the 3 things that I want to share, the first one, I got to thinking about it. As I mentioned, my whole life, what have I done? Where have I been? And I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Centura Creations or ever seen those fake perfume people out on the streets spraying perfume, trying to get you to buy it. Does anyone ever see that before? I mean, maybe this was years ago. I don't know if they still do it. Can I see in the chat if anyone's ever been out and had people try to sell you something? Maybe they try to sell you pots or pans or silverware. Yep, in Miami. So when I was younger, I worked for that company. And let me just tell you, the one tip for me is looking at other people, what they have achieved. And I look at them and I'm just like, well, they're no different than I am. And when I started with this company, I would hear people talk, they would share their stories, they would get in front of the room and they say, oh, it's an 8-week training program, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, I can do that. And I did the program, I finished the program, and I was searching for my office space. And at this time, I was a single mom, just money was non-existent. Let's just leave it like that. But I saw the potential of all these other people. So I'm looking for office space and the landlord comes. This is in a town called Belleville, New Jersey. And when he comes to the space, he's on his cell phone talking. And he's talking to his daughter. And he's like, yeah, you're going to go to your horseback riding lessons. And I'm looking at how he's dressed. I'm looking at his shoes, his clothes. And I'm like, wow. My daughter was probably like 3 or 4 at the time, maybe 5, I don't know. And I'm like, I would just love it if I could have my daughter to go horseback riding. I'm looking at him and I'm that person. If I see you and you have something that I like or that I want, I'm going to start asking you questions. So I said to him, how did you get where you are? Because he owned all these office buildings. He owned all this, he had a lot of money. And he said, well, Tina, years ago when I came to this country, I worked for a beer company where he traveled, where he had to deliver beer to liquor stores. And he said anything that was extra, they let him have. So he started selling the extra beer. And then he said, at the end of the day, the average person would go home, watch TV, kick up, drink their beer and their day is over. But he said for him, at the end of the day, he would keep working. He would do other stuff. So his mindset was much bigger. And he said, no matter what it was, he kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And I think when I heard this story, it made me realize, well, you know what? I can do the same thing. And I got to the top of that company. I was in my first year, I was rookie of the year. And it just made me realize in order to unlock your potential, sometimes you have to borrow the faith from other people. So for that particular time in my life, I borrowed the faith from him. Many times I've done this in my life when I had a goal of doing a full marathon, 26.2 miles. Let me tell you guys, it's a scary thing. And I had wanted to do it for years. So I borrowed the faith from my Aunt Donna, who lives in Bermuda, who had done like 20 full marathons. So her faith into me. So that is my tip number one when it comes to unlocking the potential inside your body to get to the next level. I would love to hear from someone else. 30 seconds, real quick, if you would like to share anything about that, something you've done in your life.
Hey, this is Jacob. You just brought me up to the stage, or somebody did. But just to add on to that, I pushed myself physically so hard for so long that I forgot to ever work on the mental aspect of it, or you know what I mean? So once I finally stopped doing that, man, it was a super long journey. But I'll go back to the thing that I did this weekend is I sang a karaoke song wearing a purple shirt out in front of everybody at a freaking punk rock bar or like a rock bar, and I bombed it. And at the end I was like, that was freaking awesome because it was the farthest thing out of my comfort zone ever.
I love that. I love that. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. And that kind of goes into, yes, and kind of into my next step. I want to talk about emotional intelligence a lot. And I love how you said the mindset, how you pushed yourself outside your comfort zone. And we hear it all the time. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that had to be super scary. So the second tip, this one is super, super, super easy to do to unlock your potential. Train, study, get a coach, take lessons, read a book, journal, all of that stuff in that nutshell. All right. How I got to become a host here on Breakfast with Champions, I was accountable. I was in the room. I took notes. I studied. I prepared. And it makes me think of being a coach. When I first began, I started as a fitness coach, doing personal training. And each year, I always love to pour into myself, whether it's nutrition courses, whether, like 2 years ago, I got my life and health coach training certificate. So when you're pouring into yourself, it gives you the confidence that you need to go to the next level. So that's the second tip that I want to share with you to unlock your potential, because we all have it inside of us. I say it all that time, that little mustard seed, let's let that mustard seed grow so all your dreams and goals can come true. Super, super, super exciting. So I want to talk about emotional intelligence because this is something that's come into my world in the last few weeks, but we have to get to that last tip. And I think this tip goes with everything I do in my life, guys, everything. Your vibe is your tribe. Are you the thermostat or are you the thermometer? And what I mean by that, when you walk into a space, when you walk into a community, do you uplift the room? Do you bring the energy? Do you bring the heat? Okay, or the fire? I don't know about you, but I think of the word juice. Join us in creating energy. Where is your juice? We need the energy. We need the spunk. That's what's going to get you to the next level. That's what's going to help pull your potential. And anyone that I'm locking arms with, it's kind of like the monkey effect. I've talked about this before. When you've gotten somewhere, you're going to reach down and pull someone else up. That's why I love working with the champions in this space right here. If I have any concerns, any questions, or not even that, if I'm not in a good place, I have to repeat it again. A couple of weeks ago, I was in a little low place, and TM he didn't even reach out to me. He reached out to you guys, the champions here. And I can't tell you all the hearts, all the love, how that made me feel so positive. And let me tell you guys, the link at the top is because of you, how it has grown. I'm doing an event in New Jersey the end of this month, and the day after this, I'm doing another event with Mary Kim, but it's in honor of my son. It's the 7th year that he's been gone. He was tragically murdered, but I'm turning that negative into something positive. Every year, I highlight his life. I honor him. And this year, I wanted to honor all the mentors that's helped me start this program. And at one point, a couple weeks ago, I was feeling kind of low. It was challenging. I was just like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, because in December, I started the idea of it, and everything started falling through. but then TM got on here and said, give Stars Tina some love, and you guys uplifted me. So the third tip that I shared with you is making sure you have your community with you. I've got my Instagram over here. It's Blanco. Hello, it's Blanco. So let me just wrap up those 3 tips for you right there. Hello, Renee Noor. She's another one. Amazing. You have to have champions. You have to have queens. You have to have kings in your circle, because guess what? It's a reflection of who you are. Look at the people that you hang around the most. Okay. First of all, if you're not waking up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, you're probably not that close to my inner circle, because anyone that's in my inner circle, they are champions. They are pushing through. They are getting uncomfortable to become stronger. Okay, so today I spoke about the 3 things I've done to unlock my potential. The first tip that I shared was looking at others for them to inspire you. The second one is training, and the third one is your tribe. So I'm going to check in this chat here because I have a special guest for you guys today. I'm super, super excited. And if you want to see her face, and if you want to see my face, then just get on Instagram, get on YouTube. So emotional intelligence, I told you I've been listening to this a lot, and I was curious how this affects your mindset. So I just want to read the chat really quick to see if anything's in here. I have to go out and find one. All righty.
Miss Bella, can I speak?
Of course, girlfriend.
Grand Rising, Star Tina, and everyone in the room. I'm quietly talking, believe it or not. I'm in Miami, right? And I decided to take a vacation, within a vacation, right? Take some time with family. Excuse my voice, because I'm not talking real loud because my daughter's sleeping. But I'm telling you, Star Tina, sometimes you have to outbeat yourself and just stop your routine, right? Take a minute and breathe and let your family know how important they are. So you know I love you, Star Tina. Let's go, Bella.
Hey, Bella, can we tap into that family and friends really quick? I don't know about you, but am I the only person who sometimes takes her family and friends for granted? And what I mean by that is you just assume that this, again, I'm just telling you what I have done or what I have gone through. Sometimes I take them for granted by not saying thank you, by not giving a hug, by not spending time with them because I'm like rushing. So this weekend, I made a super point to spend some extra time with my guy. And I'm doing a Love Your Body movement program for some ladies. And I decided, you know what? Let me turn it into couples, because sometimes couples need that extra push in regards to getting that connection. So if you're in a relationship, it could be with a man, a woman, your dog, your child, your grandchild. I want to invite you to my Instagram, because that's where it is, for Love Your Body Couples Challenge to work out together. And 7 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. But Bella, thank you for that reminder of taking time for yourself, because life is so precious. All right, so I'm going to bring this girl up right now. She's actually one of my clients, and she has impressed me. Let me tell you, it's very hard to impress me. She is an emotional intelligent coach. And before she gets in here, can we get some stars if you've ever heard of this or if you know what it is? Because when I first heard her speaking, I'm like, emotional intelligence, okay, that's cool. Is that like artificial intelligence or something like that? But anyway, Dale, make some noise. Talk to me, Dale. Tell us exactly what that is and how it can help with our mindset.
Oh my goodness. Hello. Good morning. I'm as excited as you are. Stars Tina, thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Good morning. So my name, Dale Elizabeth Lang Hall. I am your executive human resources, emotional intelligence coach, brand new entrepreneur here. I help what emotional intelligence does, what my daily reports is my business, what it's called Dale Reports. And what it does is it helps business leaders and HR professionals build strong emotional intelligence relationships. You say why? Because it will help them retain their employees. It will help them communicate better, have better relationships with each other, and just be plain old happy. You know, and how, Stina, how that kind of collides with mindset is both mindset and EI, emotional intelligence, have an impact on how an individuals see themselves, their thoughts, their emotions, and their behaviors. Because you have the thought first, then the emotions comes into play, and then you act. Right? So it's right there. Mindset is how a person sees themselves. The emotion, if your emotion that you're looking at and how you're interacting and how you're self-aware with yourself, if it's not healthy, then you're not going to see yourself in the best light. Right? So it's right there.
I love it. I love it. And when it
Mhm.
comes in regards to unlocking your full potential, if there's someone who's, I guess, I don't want to say low self-esteem, but they're not as positive as they could be. What are some strategies or things in the emotional intelligence world? Because I know you always talk about those 5 things. I would love for you to share those with us as well.
Yes. So emotional intelligence has 5 concepts. Um, One, being self-aware, right? Your emotions, noticing them, getting to know yourself, right? Again, that mindset, what triggers you. You can't, it will be best for you to move forward and be able to, how you interact with other people is how you see yourself, right? Because if you don't see yourself in the best light, you're going to kind of treat people exactly how you feel. So it's a
Can we say
reflection,
that for
right?
a hot second? I want to say that for a hot second because that's kind of good. Where you
Yeah,
said how you see yourself, because if you don't see you look in the mirror and you don't feel proud of who you are. Anyway, how some people can strengthen that look into themselves. Would love to know that.
absolutely. One, I have this mirror. When I started working on myself, I have this mirror exercise that I do. I look at myself in the mirror, and I started saying good things to myself. I say one word. I said, well, the 3-letter word over and over. I love you. And I started saying it again and again. And the more I said it, Tina, tears started to flow. I saw it because they said that their eyes are the windows to your soul. And you look into your eyes, look at the mirror, look into your eyes, go in the bathroom, look in the mirror, look at yourself, and you look at your eyes, like go deep and just say those 3-letter words to yourself. And it's a wrap. You're gonna emotions, who you are, how you feel, any slowly it starts to unravel, right? That's one. That's just looking at your self-worth, being able to see yourself in a better light. It starts with saying, I love you, I forgive you, the past is the past, you're healing, you're okay, you're getting better every day as long as you keep moving forward. So you're just saying, they say those I am statements. You just start saying those kinds of things to yourself, but you got to look at yourself in the mirror because you can't hide from yourself.
Exactly. I just want to make sure everyone catches that because sometimes I tend to go a little fast with my speech and because I'm just excited. But I really want you to catch what she said is looking into the mirror and being still. And another thing I'm going to add to what you said, Dale, is actually breathing. Because when
Mm-hmm.
you breathe, I always say just inhale all those wonderful feelings, being still with yourself, and then just exhaling. Exhale anything that's not serving you, the anxiety, the stress. And you can do this right before you get up in the morning, just lay in bed as you're saying your prayers. So that's the first tip that she's given us. All right, Dale, continue. I'll try not
Oh
to.
my goodness. And when I do the breathing exercise, like I do the self-love, and then the breathing exercise is, I take it in, take it out, and say, I am here. I matter. My emotions matter. I am real. Everything is working out for me, right? Not against me, right? You start saying those kinds of things to yourself, and slowly but surely, I guarantee you're going to start seeing yourself in a better light and loving yourself no matter what happened moving forward. Another tip I would give is, that's yourself, right? So those 2 are for yourself. The third thing I would give is conflict resolution. Sometimes when you're interacting with people, relationships, whether it be professional or personal, sometimes those interactions go sideways. So when they go sideways, for example, somebody says something to you and hurts you, and you're used to shutting yourself out, right? You don't have that self-love, not standing up for yourself. So as I was on my journey, I started speaking up for me, right? You got to see yourself. And those first 2 will help you. The second one is when you're interacting with somebody and somebody hurts you, you let them know. When you did this, it made me feel this, right? I felt this. What I would like for you to do in the future is this. And this is how it's going to benefit our relationship. If it's a relationship you care about, right? Especially if it's a, family one, right? Especially if it's a working relationship, right? That you value, right? If it's not, I would still say what they did, how it made you feel, and you got to be ready to separate yourself from the outcome.
Okay, Dale, I have a question for you. Here we go. I'm taking it home. What if you do that? Because I've had this situation where something was done, and this is with family. And when it first was told to me, I didn't say anything. I just kind of let it go. And then as time went on, I was just like, wow, this really hurt me. So I did say something to these people. I said it in a chat, in a text, and one person replied with a bunch of excuses. And I don't like the excuses. So I was like, let it go. But the other person who actually did it didn't say anything. So what would you suggest if you, and I did what you said. I said, when you did this, it made me feel this way. And again, I always like to say what's fact and what's fiction. When you did this, it made me feel like you didn't want me a part of what you guys are doing. And I'm not even going to think about it right now because it'll make me cry a little bit. But what do you do when you share how you feel and the person ignores that?
Well, number one, you got to detach yourself from the outcome, which I was saying just now, right? And you got to be okay with that because you can't control somebody else's actions and feeling and what they do, right? You barely can control your own self. You barely can control your own self. So you have to be in control and be able to regulate yourself with you, right? The 5 steps, the 5 concepts with emotional intelligence is that self-awareness, being able to regulate yourself, empathizing with other people, right? Motivating yourself and being able, and lastly, that social skills. You got to, if once you've made your stance known, that's it. Like, you got to be, okay, that tells you they don't want a relationship with you, right? Or they don't want to move forward. So you got to be able to walk away and let it go.
Love
you
it.
just have to.
Anyone have any questions for Dale? Comments? If so, on mic, because Lord knows I can have many more. We're talking about how emotional intelligence plays a role in your mindset. Go for it.
I have a quick question. Thank you so much for this conversation. So my question is, when you're dealing with kids, I'm a school teacher, what are some maybe tips, or should we keep anything in mind when we're using strategies like this with kids, teenagers specifically?
You heard that, Dale?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
How do you deal with children with this strategy, teenagers?
Well, I would welcome the conversation. But if it's a teenager in a healthy way, having them see the effects of their actions, right? If you do it this way, this is what happens. If I did it to you and then you switch roles, what would you feel if I did that to you, or somebody else did that to you? How would you feel? Well, it would make me feel like this. And you're like, exactly, you got it. Right? So you care about me, right? Yeah, I care about you. Okay, you don't want me to feel bad, right? No, I don't. Okay, these are my boundaries, right? And this is what I need for you to do going forward.
Did that help you, Shantae?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Awesome. We have time for one more question. If so, on mic. Otherwise, I do want to thank you for coming through, Dale. I'm not sure if you're in this Clubhouse streets because I'm just looking at so many screens in front of me. I don't know how Glenn does it.
I am.
Not to come through. Dale, thank you so much for coming through. If you can just share with us how people can contact you if they're looking for a coach regarding emotional intelligence with their workplace, let us know and then put it in the chat, please.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. My website is dalereports.com. Please reach out. My email is there. I am on all the socials. And when you go to my website, you can click on all my socials and you'll find me as well. Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So as I mentioned, I am Stars Tina. You are in Breakfast with Champions. Today we were talking about ways to unlock your potential. I'm going to say your star potential because, I just love all the stars. I shared what I have done. I brought an expert in when it came to emotional intelligence. And just remember that you are more than enough. I loved all the tips that Dale gave us. And it's important, I always say this, you have to go into that darkness. You have to go into those places of silence. You have to go into those places of quietness to really feel the feelings. If it's looking in the mirror, if it's just sitting down with a rock in your hand or with some oils. And in those dark places, that's where your light's going to shine. That's where you're going to get your gifts. That's where you're going to find your stars because, that's where we shine the brightest, right? So as we prepare to have Glenn come into this space, I just want us to share out this room. If you're in the Clubhouse streets, click that button on the bottom, share it. I also want you to invite people because this is a space that's never like anyone. Club, I don't know, how this came to be, but I just say it's from God. This Clubhouse space, these Breakfast with Champions, it's definitely created champions. I'm super excited because Glenn's going to be in the 10X challenge. I'm not 10X challenge, I'm sorry. 10X Great Speak Off in Vegas in a couple of days. I'm going to be there to support him. Super excited about that. 30 seconds till he's here. They're going to swap out his link in the top. And remember, you have the potential. You have the gifts inside you already. Just work with that mindset, and that's about it. I am Stars Tina. Make some noise. Make some noise. Give it up for the one and only Glenn